name's Sarah Prefontaine. This is also my second year going into mock trial. I played almost every witness on this case at some point.
And Jordan Ryder, who are you?
Hi, I'm Ashton Colbert. I guess this is like going to be my technically first year on mock trial, but I joined the last year, last minute, because you guys needed a witness. And then like my mom's been like part of mock trial for as long as I've been conscious. So that's my thing.
I felt that.
So does anybody who watched the little show there have any questions for our team?
Yeah, or want to introduce yourself. We'd love to hear from you.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Is it harder to be a character witness or an expert witness, and why?
Who wants to take that one?
I was gonna say, how about Martha, because you've played both.
Yeah, I mean, that's a really good question. I would still say, I don't know, it depends what you mean like by harder, because like medically, like any expert witnesses need to know like the medical terms and how to explain that to like a lay person. But pretending to be a character and embodying like a different person, that's, I don't know, people have their weaknesses and their strengths. If you're good at like very like facts and all of that, then obviously you think it's easier to be an expert and harder to be a character witness, because acting is just not my forte, honestly.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. That's literally exactly how I would put it is, for me, I played an expert. I played Detective Chesney, and honestly, I am the most like monotone person inside the courtroom and out. And I felt like playing detective, I was just myself and it worked. But if you were to have me play Armani Rodriguez, I would probably be terrible. I would not be up to Christian's performance level. So
I think, yeah, Martha really brings up a good point, because I played Dr. Quincy at some point too, which is the counterpart of the defense expert. And I think the hardest thing comes with, like, you have to really know your stuff. You have to really, because when you get crossed, especially, because you can prepare direct examinations and you know what you're going to say and what you need to get out on the stand. But the moment that it like comes time to be cross-examined and they start bringing up stuff in your report, if you don't have your report memorized and you don't know the medical terminology, you're going to look like a fool up on that stand.
Do we have any other questions?
I do have another one.
Sure.
In mock trial, do you get?
Oh, we got two questions coming at the same time.
yeah, Sydney, it appears your audio
is a bit of a loaded question, but I like, yeah. Huh? Apparently, according to Zoom. Oh, gee.
Go ahead.
Oh, but I was gonna say I did mock trial in high school for like a lot, and I was an attorney and a witness at different points. So how is college mock trial different than high school? Like, I know it's really different. I just don't know how exactly.
Who do we have on the team who did high school?
I think Sarah.
Martha did it, but I want Alicia to talk too, because Alicia did it too and she hasn't talked. Sorry, Martha.
Yeah, so I did it all 4 years of high school. And I was saying this earlier in the informational session, it's just like high school mock trial to an extreme. Everything's longer. You have more like variability, I guess. Like there's more witnesses, there's more evidence. Every affidavit's longer. There's more rules of evidence. So like you just have to take what you already know and like be prepared to expand it a lot and like change your thinking, because witnesses need to have character in college and they didn't as much in high school, for my school at least. But yeah, just extreme mock trial.
Another point that I want to ask from Martha is, Martha, I remember when you came on as a freshman, one thing that you noticed was different was objections, because you thought that you knew objections coming in, and none of the objections that you used, we were like, no, you can't use those.
Yeah, like badgering the witness isn't really like an objection in college mock trial. Like if you say that, a judge is gonna look at you like
they're gonna cackle.
This cross, like whatever. But yeah, in high school they teach you like the same like 10 different objections, and in undergrad, it's a lot closer to real life trial because you have like an adapted version of the federal rules of evidence. So it's a lot more complex and different levels and different tiers to objection. It's like a whole spectrum of them. So yeah.
If I could follow up on that, what state did you do mock trial in?
Here in Florida, I did it
Okay.
in Miami-Dade County.
Yeah, me too. I live in Fort Myers, but like I never heard of the badgering the witness as an objection in high school. So that's
I mean, that's Broward, so I guess it's a little bit different.
yeah.
And she's old, so.
Amy here has a question in the chat. It says, do you guys usually prepare for the trial and know the questions beforehand, or is it just questions on the spot?
So
So go ahead, Christian.
it's a mix of both. Sometimes we practice 3 times a week, and during that time we prepare direct examinations, which is kind of like a question and answer script, but we kind of do it more so like content wise. Like you don't want to have a script in your mind, because then if something happens, like I don't know, for example, Sarah, which Detective Chesney, we were a witness attorney duo. And there was a time where I was questioning her on the stand and we needed to get a point out, but we kind of got lost. So we had to make up a couple questions on the spot to get back. So it's kind of a mix between preparation and flexibility, which has been really good for someone like me who likes to have everything planned out, because in a courtroom and when you're practicing law, you need to be able to have really flexible thinking and quick thinking on your feet. So most of the time it's prepared, but sometimes there's a little twist that kind of knocks you off your feet a little bit.
I would say probably it's like 2/3 to 1/3. Like 1/3 of the trial is going to be a bunch of stuff that you as a witness or you as an attorney aren't going to expect. Whether it's crap we have to change, crap we have to throw in these 6 questions 5 seconds before, and you have to trust your partner and be like, you're thinking what I'm thinking. You send little mental vibes to each other on the stand. But I think the other part of it is just you never know what type of outrageous stuff the competition's going to pull up. We've seen it all. We've seen the craziest things, and we just have to like try not to react, or we have to try to adapt. So I'd say it's pretty equal on both. I think everyone here can attest to that their quick thinking skills have definitely improved through Child Team.
And there's a question from Manuel also in the chat. It says, what do the judges do in mock trial? Is there a jury? Is there a winner? And how is that decided?
Yeah, someone who hasn't talked yet. What about somebody who hasn't talked? Dee, let's hear from you.
Yeah. So there is a judge, and there is a jury. It's usually 2 to 4 people, and they're usually lawyers that practice in the area that you're in, or judges, or somebody that's in the legal world, and they judge your performance, character performance, witness performance, how well your group works together as a team, and so they have a point system, and the points that you get accumulate. And at the end, they gather all these points, and then they decide like which team basically won that round. You have 4 rounds, and then for each round, it's to show your like prosecution, then defense.
Uh-oh.
She cut out. But yeah, you just do 2 rounds on each side.
Yeah.
I got you, Dee.
For a jury that you have?
Hmm?
Do you have a jury?
Sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes it depends on if the school that's hosting, if they can get enough people to be both judge and jury. Essentially what it is like you're gonna have one presiding judge, one judge that's always like answering objections and stuff like that and telling us what to do. And he has a blue score sheet like what Dee was talking about. And then sometimes it'll be like a juror who's sitting next to them and they're the quote unquote jury. Sometimes though it literally is like 2 people sitting next to each other, so you kind of treat them as both, but you just respond to whoever is presiding.
Is the jury giving a verdict?
Nope.
Never.
Not to you directly.
You can ask in the end like who you thought which one had more supporting evidence for their side, but like that's about it. It's not
It's always
about,
prosecution.
yeah, it's not about guilty or not guilty. It's just like how well you looked while you were performing and the content. Sometimes content. I think it's more how you look.
I think that's actually like a really interesting point too that Martha brought up, just so like you guys understand, like with our trials, that is what we think about. You don't have to win your case going into mock trial, because honestly, more times than not, the people that write these cases make it impossible for either side. Sometimes they honestly screw the defense really badly, but the defenses can still essentially win the round in the sense that they scored better because they sold their story better for whatever reason. So what we really teach is like advocacy here. It's more so in the sense that you're learning how to do proper directs, how to perform, how to be a public speaker. And if you are not playing an attorney for whatever reason, you still pick up those types of skills in terms of just being in front of someone and presenting yourself. But yeah, I think that's a really interesting point that Martha brought up.
We have a question in the chat. Amy wants to know how many months/weeks do we prepare?
So the case is usually released in like mid to late August, and then your first tournament can be as early as September, but usually I think we go in October, and then we go through October, November, December until January. That's when we start the spring semester, and the spring semester is when we start the regional tournaments, and then if you get out of regionals, that's when you would go on to the national level and the San Juan Nationals level.
I have a question for you. Sorry, go ahead. It's okay.
And then for like to prepare, we usually practice, I would say 2 hours for 3 days in a week for 2 hours at a time. Dr. K in our team 870, requires us to meet for 2 practices at least. And that's usually during a non-compete competition week. But then during competition, we usually add on a day of practice. So you're looking at between 10 to 15 hours a week of practicing, preparing for the competition.
Yeah, because that's, oh yeah, sorry. I was just gonna say that's just in person. Like we also outside. Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes you partner up with like witness attorney pairs will partner up and like work on a direct to have prepared before the next practice. So it really just depends.
How big is your packet usually?
Isn't it like 150 pages or something like that?
Yeah, close to 200 pages.
Yeah. And there's case changes too. Here's the thing. You get one version of the case, like Costa said, in August, and then they drop, I don't know, someone can correct me, but I think like the first change is
December, I think.
Yeah. And then there's another change. So sometimes there might be minor changes to like witnesses you already have. Sometimes they'll add a new witness like they did with this past case. They added a whole new witness for the prosecution. So the case packet is thick.
Well, there's always a new witness with the Oryx case changes anyways. There will always be a new witness with the final set of case changes.
And that also sounds very overwhelming. Like it is a big packet, but like you review this stuff so much that by the end of it, like you know it like the back of your hand, and it's honestly like incredible how much you do like learn about the law. Like personally, this was my first year, and like the change that you will see, like if you want to learn about that stuff, you will learn a lot through this.
Does anybody have any questions? You can ask a specific person. You can ask about a witness, anything about what you've seen. Amy, it says in the chat, when would people typically start trying out, or how does that go? So I'll turn that over to Alyssa.
Yeah, so we have set our tryout dates. I honestly have to check my calendar. When is the tryout dates? If someone has it from our last minutes, it should be coming up relatively soon, but what you would do is essentially email myself or Dr. K, and we will send you a case packet for tryouts. Essentially though, for those of you, actually, that is a big point to tell any of you who are interested in trying out. If you guys want to try out and you aren't familiar with how it's gonna go this year with Corona and everything like that. So this year our tryouts have kind of changed compared to all of our seasons past. However, what we're going to do is essentially it's the same task we're asking of attorneys, which is where you present a closing and then you direct a witness, and we give you like witnesses and material, and you want to stick within the case packet we're giving you. And you even can reach out to any of us, any of these faces that you see lit up on this screen. They all will be there to help you if you have any questions on how to write anything. Our coaches actually encourage you guys to ask us to help you, because teaching you teaches us. And also it's just, why not get a leg up on everybody? But yeah, for attorneys, you would just basically submit a video. We're doing it through Flipgrid. So you would submit a video of you and like a partner. You might want to ask like a friend or a parent or whoever you might be living with to play your witness, and essentially you're just going to like question them. And then for witnesses on the like flip side, we're giving you guys, and both like attorneys and witnesses are going to have like example directs. So for a witness, you would essentially want to run through an example direct and have a person question you the same way, and you would just send that in. And then the next step after you guys send that in by our deadline, the next step would be that we will do a Zoom, and everyone will get to talk to us, and we will get to ask you the questions that like our coaches or we would typically ask you in an in-person tryout. So I know that was a lot, but yeah, that's basically the rundown of it. Yeah, tell them, yeah, so email for the packet is what Dr. K is saying. But yeah. And one last campus, yeah, what is she saying?
I was saying, if you email Dr. K, her email is drdrk@ucf.edu. Email her. She'll send you all the information you need to know. She'll go ahead and send you the contact information for our officers so they can help you get through. Don't worry, it's not a scary process at all. We're very friendly people. We understand that most people don't know what's really happening. They don't have the details. They don't have the knowledge that you would have further along in the season. So we are not judging you based on what we think you should know already. We're just here for you. We just want to see how you respond under pressure.
Yeah, and also, okay, so I'm looking at the chat right now. Is it Amy? Okay, so for one last thing is, if you won't be on campus this fall semester because we're online, you do not have to wait until next year. Basically, from what we've heard about how these Zoom trials have been going, is that we're each going to be a different window within the Zoom trial. So you can do trial remotely. We're just going to ask you, obviously, to like, find the right room, and we're going to do Zoom practices, I imagine, as well. Martha, or Dr. Lopez, as it reads in the chat, she sent that email that Morgan just dropped, and she let you guys know. So the submissions for the tryout video open on the 28th, and they are open the whole week. And yeah, and then we'll review it, and then the follow-up interview with everyone will be on September 9th. So if you guys want, that information is in there.
Yeah, and to follow up with what Elissa mentioned about, yes, Amy, that's right. It'll be online, and that's actually the reality of trial now. Like, they're even doing hearings online. We do have some attorneys on here. What is Dr. Cashman here?
Coco's here.
And Coco are online.
Yeah, so I don't know if you want to.
I am here, Martha.
Hi, Dr. Cashman. So I don't know if you want to share like just how trial is online right now, how hearings are going.
We do a lot by video. There I am. We're back to phase 1 in the courthouses because of COVID-19. We attend through Microsoft Teams or something like Zoom, and you have the different squares with the different people in it, and you present evidence just as we did in the example. There'll be a picture of it. It's a little weird to get used to at first, but we're all making it work in real life, and there's no reason to think we can't make it work for trial team, and it'll be good preparation for you if you're going to be a lawyer in the future or for whatever career you go into, because so much has had to switch to being done remotely.
Thank you. Yeah, so we're going to be doing trial online.
Yeah, and I think that also this is just like a good opportunity for all of us to get to learn. And I think that whether you guys choose to come on the team. I mean, even though we're online and if you don't want to compete, but you still want to come and watch and learn, we've had non-competes that have literally come and just helped us contribute ideas. They haven't, and that's okay too. I think that this is a big learning opportunity for anyone interested, especially this year, because this is like very new territory that we're all getting into. And this is going to be, even for someone like myself or Martha or Morgan or Dr. Cashman and Coco, who have been doing this forever, who have been with Trials Team forever, even though we've all been doing it this long, this is still like brand new territory, and it's a whole new level of advocacy over the computer. So I think that it's a good learning opportunity. Even if you think that you might not want to compete this year, we still encourage you to come and learn and join and contribute. Also, are there extras that practice along with you guys, or you just choose a strict set of people? So we have teams. This year we're going to be split into 2 different teams, and essentially the teams do practice separately. However, basically what I said is, yeah, we have non-competes, which they can go, I mean, non-competes can belong to any team or all teams. They're not limited. They're allowed to go to whatever practices they want. They're free game for all of us because they can help contribute their ideas too. But when it comes to like practices, I don't think anyone's not allowed to go to any other team's practice. I think that I know for sure that if one of us were bored and when we had on-campus practices, we would go sit in another team's practice just to hang out and see what they were doing. So I don't think it's limited, but I think just because we are obviously 2 separate teams that compete within the organization, there is a little bit of separation, but we're one big family. Everyone's welcome to join.
I have a question for you. What's the competition process like?
Let's hear from Sarah, actually. I haven't heard anything from Sarah / Detective Chesney, and I want you to tell us if you can. Not to put you on the spot, girlfriend, but I know you got it.
So the competition process, obviously, it's going to be a lot different this year since everything is on Zoom. But basically, we just practice for a couple months beforehand. We usually were traveling before, so that added a whole extra interesting element onto everything that never seemed to quite work out for us. But besides that, yeah, I really don't know how Zoom meetings are going to go, if we're going to meet in a certain area, if we're all going to be in our own little spaces or do what we can. So I'm not really sure for this season.
Specifically, like Sarah, like how would, if you were in a normal in-person tournament, like how would you walk us through what the day would be like? Because I think it's going to be the same except we're going to be on Zoom. So can you walk them through like round 1 to 4? Openings to closings, actually. Walk us through the whole tournament weekend.
All right. So you get to the tournament wherever that is, and then usually you start by waking up very early, putting on your best little professional outfits and waiting around at the tournament. They get broken off into teams. You find out who you're competing against and where you're supposed to be at what time. And you go there, wait till the judges come. The trials usually start. Trials usually last about 3 hours. They're brutal, but very fun. And then we have a short lunch break usually between them. And then a couple hours after that, we go on to our second team and our second trial. And then after that one's done, we're done for that day. And then it gets repeated for the next day. We have another 2 trials. So it's 4 trials in total. And then we have a competition, an award ceremony at the end.
Yep.
Going back to how is it going to be different with Zoom? Dr. K and I judged a Zoom tournament 2 weekends ago. And just like you have a trial and then during the break, the team goes and chats and pumps each other up or makes suggestions about how to do things better. We're going to have breakout rooms in the Zoom tournament that you all will just be with each other during the breaks. And a lot of what actually happens in the tournament, we are going to be able to recreate online.
Yeah. Well, any other questions?
Okay, if there are no other questions, remember you can always email Dr. K. It's drk@ucf.edu. She'll send you tryout package. She'll send you any information. She can also answer your questions and connect you with people who can help you through the tryout process. I saw that your hand was raised, Christian. Is that?
No, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Bumped my plant, and so now I'm making sure the leaves.
Okay. Well, if nobody has any other question, we'll go ahead and end the meeting. Remember, go ahead and email Dr. K for any further questions you may have. Okay?
Yeah, and one last thing. I just once again, for those of you trying out, I cannot recommend enough. Ask for us to help you. Like, I know we're gonna end it, but I just had to like really make sure I emphasize to you guys that ask for one of us to help you. We will. We miss doing trial. We miss writing this stuff. And I promise you, it will make you look way better in tryouts. And we can tell which people have asked for help and which people haven't. So as Morgan just said, Abigail, ask Dr. K, and Dr. K will put you guys, I mean, I think probably the most efficient way to do it is just to assign one person trying out to one person on the team is what it's probably going to be. But yeah, just email Dr. K and be like, can you connect me with someone to help? We love this. This is our bread and butter, but like, I just cannot recommend that to you guys enough to ask for help. We will give it to you and you will not be shorted for it.
Also, like, please don't be intimidated either. Like, this is a really incredible opportunity. It really teaches you a lot about the law and the legal system and the court procedure. And like, I've made some of my closest friends on this team. Like, it's super welcoming. It really helps you grow not only as in the legal field, but also like as a person and as an individual. So if you're considering it, at the very least, like, just come out and take the chance. The worst that's going to happen is you decide it's not for you. I promise you it'll be worth it.
Aww.
Everybody who came out, we thank everybody who asked questions. We really thank so much of our presenters, Alyssa, Costa, Christian, Martha, Alicia, Sarah, and I don't know where Ashton is gone, but thank you guys so much. And of course, if you have any questions, again, email Dr. K. We are here for you. We're going to make sure this is a fun experience for everybody. And we appreciate you guys so much for coming to see our event. Thank you. And